One person still getting settled in. If anyone is new to us or anyone online joining us for the first time, I'd like to read a poem for you. This was written in 1926 by Ernest Holmes. Peace be unto thee, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and you are welcome to my home. There is room in my house for all. I swept the hearth and lit the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before you. The wine is here also. It sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome. So again, welcome everybody. And if you are joining us virtually, I invite you to type something into the chat feed on YouTube or Facebook. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you are joining from. We are blessed by your presence. Please join me this week, all week, for the morning spirit calls that come at 9 a.m. and also evening affirmations at 6 p.m. So our theme today, as we finish our series on the way of transformation, is called Your Cup Runs Over. So please join me in speaking our mission statement. If you don't know it by heart, we're going to put it on the wall projected behind you there, where we have a working projector at the moment. We are love in action, transforming lives, transforming communities. So let's begin our time together in prayer. Just taking a deep breath, settling into our seats. Just bringing ourselves fully present right here, right now. And recognizing that presence of spirit that is here within us, all around us. That goodness, that love that I call God, but by any other name, it is still the same. The infinite love of the infinite. So what I know in this moment and in every moment is that you are part of me and I am part of you. That we are made of that same stuff, that same infinite love. That is the truth of who we are. And we are truly free when we accept our own divinity. So I just recognize and affirm that each of us is exactly where we are meant to be right now. And that spirit is at work in each of our lives, knowing exactly what it's doing. And that our time together this evening unfolds in perfection. I know that the message Amani will share with us is blessed and contains those nuggets that each of us needs to hear right now. And we are blessed by the prayers, blessed by the music, blessed by the love that is in this space, which includes the virtual space. Whatever time you might be watching this, even if it's not as it's happening, that love just ripples out. And it blesses all of us in this community, and it blesses the whole world. I know that this work we do together in community and in consciousness matters. It really does make a difference. We are so powerful when we stand in the truth of the love that we are. And so in gratitude, I just allow it all to be in perfection, and so it is.
It is our prayer request time and candle lighting time. For those of you online, I invite you to put a candle emoji or your prayer request in the chat feed. For those of you in the room in person, please come up through the center aisle and light your candle. And if you choose to speak your prayer request out loud, you may use the microphone right here to my left. At this time, I would like to, you may come up to light candles as you choose. I'd like to acknowledge our High Watch practitioners, Ben and Joanna Clark, and David Coonsley and Vincent Medley, who are our altar assistants.
Please light a candle of love and comfort for all who were affected by the tragic shooting in Colorado, for the lives lost and the lives of the families affected, and just a candle to honor Transgender Awareness Day and remember all of the lives that have been lost.
I can't find my presser foot, and I can't sew without it, which means nothing is getting made.
We will pray for you to find it, Tanley.
And so it is. It's already found. It's already
Explode.
done. For our community, as we continue this wonderful adventure of moving forward in the ways that are best for us as a community, knowing that this adventure is the heart of each one of us, that our heart's desires are absolutely heard and reverberated outward. I have a prayer request for Stephen Scalf.
Prayer for health for Bill Heath.
And so in this moment of divine perfection, I say thank you for every prayer that was stated, every light, every candle that was lit, every prayer that was thought and not remembered to say out loud, for every single heart's desire that each one of us has as we move forward into this week, knowing that the prayers are in the mind of the beloved and already done as we believe. Knowing this to be the truth as we walk out into this week, knowing that we are supported into this deep gratitude and week of thanksgiving for all the good and all the God, for we know it is all good and God. Knowing this to be the truth, I release my word, knowing it cannot come back to me void. Please anchor this with me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
At this time, I would like to introduce our beloved Krista Keller, who will do our sacred reading.
So I'd like to share some wisdom from an amazing Buddhist teacher, Sharon Salzberg, from her book, Loving Kindness. To be truly happy in this world is a revolutionary act because true happiness depends on a revolution in ourselves. It is a radical change of view that liberates us so we know who we are most deeply and can acknowledge our enormous ability to love. We are liberated by the truth that every single one of us can take time and pay attention. We can know we are that source, the source of love that brings happiness. That is our birthright. Our own happiness can change history, and it does. Through loving kindness, everyone and everything can flow again from within. When we recover knowledge of our own loveliness and that of others, self-blessing happens naturally and beautifully. What unites us all as human beings is an urge for happiness. We long to be with one of our own lives and one with each other. As we open, we uncover the mind's inherent ability to heal, to grow, to change. Being still, we see the power of the mind, which is the strength of our own capacity to love and connect. Actual love is the true seeing of our own oneness, our non-separateness. Our freedom to love arises from discovering that we can live without the concept of self and other. The joy of this discovery is incomparably greater than what many of us have previously known or even imagined. So much of our view of life changes.
Thank you, Krista. As we were preparing for this talk this week, mostly as I think I'm the only one who's been singing all week. But how many of you know the song, "The Storm is Passing Over"? It's a Black church song from back in the day. All right, the two Black people in the room and those of you online who know it, sing it with me. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. So all week long, I've been singing, "Your cup is running over. Your cup is running over." All week long, I made sound check to it today. And I offer that little melody for you as a reminder as we begin to consider that this cup that runs over, the cup running over, this overflow we often talk about, that we can love from overflow, we give from overflow, but first we must fill our own cup. We must put our own masks on first on the plane. This whole concept, I want you to hold in your mind right now the concept of your own cup. As I read from Science of Mind 365. Daily, we should practice affirming that our cup is filled and running over. Always remembering that we affirm for ourselves, we must affirm for others. Living and letting live, giving and receiving, loving and being loved, our cup of acceptance will be filled from the horn of God's abundance. Our cup of acceptance will be filled from the horn of God's abundance. And I hear these ideas all the time, like, let God fill you up. The infinite supply of the Holy Blessed One is ever yours and ever available, all of which is true. But I want to go back to the second part of that statement. Living and letting live, giving and receiving, loving and being loved, our cup of acceptance will be filled from the horn of God's abundance. It is through these activities that we will experience our cup being filled from God's abundance. So, if that is so, what is this horn of abundance, this abundant horn that we will be filled from? It's us. We're the horn. We're the stuff getting poured. You and I are this horn of abundance that is ever flowing by living and letting live, by giving and receiving, by loving and being loved. So we are wrapping up today this series on the way of transformation. The mission of the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living is transformation, the transformation of our own lives and the transformation of the communities we belong to by being love in action. And so this transformation that you and I come together on purpose around, the way that that transformation gets to be experienced, gets to happen, gets to move and manifest form is through this affirmation of our cup running over, is through the way that you and I begin to understand, as Krista shared in the reading from Sharon Salzberg, that there is no separation. This horn of God's abundance is not some mythical creature but hiding behind a cloud somewhere that you've got to go find in meditation, so that then you'll get filled to overflow. There is no separation, which means this horn of abundance is not separate from you. It is not something outside of you that's going to suddenly flow into your being and fill you. You are it. You are already God's abundance. And I can see on your faces right now, and beloveds online, let me know if you are having the same conundrum. Well, if I'm it, why is this happening and that happening? And why am I having this experience of not enoughness? And why is the world going to hell in a handbasket if we're it? Anybody want to answer? Oh, let's go back to the sentence. Clarissa gets the gold star. We must daily affirm that our cups are filled and running over. That when we live and let live, give and receive, love and allow ourselves to be loved, our cup of acceptance will be filled from the horn of God's abundance. Our cup of acceptance. How is your cup of acceptance? Because the filling can only be experienced if it is accepted. Has anybody been at the gas station and you weren't paying attention and you overfilled your gas tank and it started running all over the place, had nowhere to go? Anybody? Yes? Is your tank open? Is there room in your being to be filled? Or are you like that tank that's just got everything's running out, going on the ground? The cup of acceptance is key to your experience of transformation. And I actually think when we get really honest with ourselves about the transformation we long for, that very longing is like the pointer to your empty cup. Whatever idea you have of what may be missing or out of sorts in your life is pointing you to a place where you are not receiving. A place where you may not be accepting. And I say this in context of all that you and I face in this world, whatever our social locations may be. I say this in the context of that because what I know to be true, what I absolutely know to be true, is that the world we want to be living in, the life you want to be experiencing, begins, as Sharon Salzberg pointed out, with your own perception of what is so. It begins with you turning in to your own consciousness, to your own heart, to the ground of your own understanding, so that you can come to life ready and able, without separation, to live and let live, to give and receive, to love and be loved. That cup of acceptance, that cup that is your own consciousness, your own awareness, your own beingness of the love that we call God, is what is here in this material universe to be a change shaper. And so when you begin to get into relationship with your cup of acceptance, when you begin to get into relationship with the truth of your own being and understand what is filling my cup and what is not filling my cup, what is taking up space in my consciousness, in my own being, and in my heart that is maybe making it difficult for me to have the experience of my cup running over. This is actually the labor required so that transformation can occur. There is absolutely nothing outside of you that can give it to you. But this horn of God's abundance that is made up of you and I helps us to begin to make that turn to the truth of who we are. That living and letting live, that giving and receiving, that loving and being loved, those are the activities that wake us up to our cup of abundance. It is through those interactions with one another that we get the reminders like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe there's something bigger, greater, more amazing out in this life, in this reminder that you are being for me. I'm thinking today of the shooting in Colorado and the process that I was in as I met the heartbreak of that and let myself feel my way through. What does this have for me to understand? Because what I know is true is there is no separation between me and everyone impacted by that event, including the shooter. So what is in this for me to more deeply understand my inherent connection with all of those beloveds? And so as I take the opportunity, because that very situation was a reminder that I get to go deeper, I took the opportunity to sit back into what I know to be true, and the place that I do that is by turning within my own being, accepting the love that is never, ever missing. And my heartbreak went a little bit deeper. Because my sadness, not just for the event and not for the life lost, my sadness got even greater for the beloved who picked up that gun. And for the conditions of our society that shaped that young man and made that event possible. We are here together in this one life, and we are always inviting one another into deeper understanding of what is true. And even the ones holding the guns are part of our oneness. Every single moment is an invitation to know our connection. And it is through that work, it is through that activity of loving and being loved, of giving and receiving, of living and letting live, that we get to continually come back and daily affirm that our cup is running over. Because even the stuff that feels like it is going to devastate us can be made into an affirmation of truth. This is why your cup is running over. It's running over right now. If you will accept life's invitation. I know I love to micromanage God. Anybody else? Do you get into your prayers and be like, I don't know why you're doing that. I think you should be doing this. I don't know why you're letting that happen over there. What's that? Here's what I think should be happening. Here's how I think it should go. But in that micromanaging, in that wish to control outer circumstances, what happens is I now create a wall between me and the infinite givingness of the Holy Blessed One. What I do when I begin to limit what is possible and try to tell God what to do, try to tell life what to do, I am no longer in receiving mode. I'm in telling mode. It's like I turn the switch off. Like, wait a minute, I know you're trying to give all the things to me, and I know that there's an infinite abundant flow available that I could tap into, but I'm gonna just put that to the side for a minute while I tell you what's up. And yet, God is like, beloved, I am flowing right now, and it is your great gift to accept it, even when it's painful. Even when it's hard to find the good. Even when you and I wish that it was not going down like this. And yet still, that abundant flow is flowing. And I can get myself underneath it and receive. My heartbreak, my pain are not in the way of that receiving. They might actually be the way. Much like the shooting that happened yesterday. That is an open invitation to more love, yes? Letting our hearts be broken open by that kind of violence so that we can have a deeper understanding and experience of our inherent connection. Every single one of those opportunities are yours and mine for the taking. But when we try to close our eyes, when we try to close our hearts because it's so painful, we walk away from our good. We close the door to that infinite flow. And I would love to go back to this daily affirmation. Daily, we should practice affirming that our cup is filled and running over. Always remembering that what we affirm for ourselves, we must affirm for others. When we affirm for ourselves and get ourselves into that flow, being able to affirm that infinite supply of love that is love is available and happening in the lives of every other single person we know and don't know. When we have allowed ourselves to receive from the horn of abundance, from the life of abundance, from the love that is abundance, Living and letting live becomes a joy. It's not effortful. When you are able to walk in the world and just let yourself be the wholeness that you are, let yourself show up exactly as you are. You don't have to get cute. You don't have to do the things. You don't have to lose the weight. You don't have to be smarter. You don't have to go get the degree. You don't have to do any of the things. That you are filled with the truth of who you are, and you are bringing that to life itself. And when you give yourself that kind of permission, you do that for others. It's really easy. All of a sudden, the judgy Judgerson, that's what I name my little judgy voice in my head. She's judgy Judgerson. All of a sudden, she gets really quiet. She no longer is walking out in the world having all the thoughts about, oh, she shouldn't wear that. And why is he doing that? And why are they so loud? And what's happening down there on that aisle? What are they doing? Why are they buying that? Judgy Judgerson. Anybody else have one of those narrators? She gets really quiet when I allow myself to wholly show up in the world, unapologetically. It quiets her to the point where I then walk in the world delighting in all y'all's wholeness. Curious about, wow, I would have never thought of that. I'm the girl in the grocery store who's now going like, hey, did you put that with that? What's the recipe? Do you want? Here, tell me the recipe. I would have never thought of that. Or when I see someone moving in a way that I have fully no understanding or experiencing of, and being able to just be with it like, wow, God shows up like that too. And allowing others to be with my wholeness in whatever way they are going to be with my wholeness. I'm no longer walking around worried that their judgy Judgerson is judging me while I'm judging them, and now nobody's having a good time. But it begins with that cup of acceptance. As you get in relationship with your own cup of acceptance, living and letting live becomes a joy. Giving and receiving from that place no longer becomes transactional. We're not keeping track when our cup is full. All of a sudden, it's just being. It's just this natural flow, much like our very breath. We're just receiving and giving. It's our nature. It's not like we go to the trees and the plants and say, I think you took too much carbon. I'm going to need you to give me some of that back. I don't know that I have enough to give you. It's just a natural state. It is part of our nature as the manifest reality of God's abundance. It's built in, this giving and receiving. And when we begin to divest and untangle and pull away from misunderstanding of what giving and receiving is, we begin to more easily have the experience of giving and receiving and much less of transactions. And then, loving and being loved. I think it's the whole reason we're here in these beautiful bodies of ours, is to get to have the fleshy, messy experience of love. The stuff you and I are made of. And when you and I understand that your love, my love and your love, is not something that has to be gotten, consumed, bought. I have some friends that we were having breakfast the other morning, and we were laughing. It was a group of mixed race folks. And we were laughing about this idea in white supremacy where you just walk around going, that's mine. That's mine. Oh, don't touch it, don't touch it. This is mine. Mine. That's what toxic capitalism does. It makes us believe that our good is in having stuff and making it mine and owning it. And we completely get distracted from the good we actually desire. The infinite supply that is ever giving itself as love to you as you. And when we pull our attention back to what really matters, to the real longing in our hearts and our souls and our beings, and recognize that the having and the buying and the consuming and the owning actually doesn't fulfill that longing. You and I get to be in the dance that we were brought here to dance, which is the dance of the good. The dance of our actual natures, which are good. I don't care who you are and what you've done. Our nature is to be God's abundance. That is what you and I are doing here. It is why there has been breath put in our bodies. And when we get into that relationship with the truth of our nature, the loving and being loved is not only effortless, it is the way your longing gets met. It is the way. And in Spirit Calling today, I don't know who all has Spirit Calling, but if you don't, go sign up on our website. But Clarissa's call this morning, which was kicking off this series, she invited us to turn within and get in relationship with our self-love. And I thought to myself as I read the calls, I don't always listen to the calls, but I was reading what Clarissa shared with everyone, I thought to myself, what a perfect first step to begin to get in relationship with your true nature, to begin to get in relationship with this cup that is you, ever receiving the good that is God, is to begin to understand how well are you loving you? How well are you filling your own cup as a divine, beloved, manifest reality of the one? I thought, I love this as a practice. Because the homework she gave was, one, turn within and check on your cup. How is it? Is it full? Is it half full? Is it really empty? How's your cup? And then make a deposit. Make a deposit into your own cup so that you then begin to understand the experience of being full. How many of you have a sense of what it means to fill your own cup? Raise your hand. And do you know some ways that you can behave, the activity you can get into that helps you to fill that cup? Shout some out, because I want us to have a sense that there are infinite ways. Music. What else? Meditation. I can't hear you. Being in nature. Kindness. Say again. Bubble baths. If y'all haven't seen Clarissa's bubble bath video, go check the archives. All right, beloveds online. And if somebody would please hop on and show me or talk to me about what beloveds online might do to fill their own cups. Quiet time. Sitting in the sunshine. That's one of mine. Painting. Yes. And here's what I want you to know, though, about this filling of your own cup. When I said it's a first step, I really mean it's a first step. Do not think you are in graduate school of abundance yet. Filling your own cup is a way right? The series has been about the way of transformation. Filling your own cup is a way to begin getting in relationship with your cup. What it actually requires is a turning within. Because the way that you know that those activities fill your cup is you have a sense, you have an experience of fullness when you do the thing. But how do you know that? You feel a certain way, yes? And it takes awareness and consciousness to know that you're feeling a certain way. This is the labor. Growing our awareness. And if you know that that thing helps you to feel a certain way, I'm asking you to get into deeper relationship with feeling a certain way. To get into a deeper relationship with your cup being full, so full that your overflow makes living and letting live, loving and being loved, and giving and receiving just what it is that you do, because that is your nature. And I don't believe we spend nearly enough time understanding our own fulfillment. Understanding our own fulfillment and understanding that my fulfillment is actually fulfilling my purpose to be God's abundance. Because if I'm running on empty, I have no flow to contribute. Which means I am not fulfilling my end of the deal as God's abundance. If I'm filling my cup, which I may not even know that I have a cup and I don't even know that I'm filling the cup, but if I am consuming and trying to meet my own desires and longings through things and stuff and other people, thinking other people gonna fill my cup, thinking it's other people's responsibility to make me have the experience of fullness. Yes? I am not holding up my end of the deal as God's beloved, as the manifestation of the Holy One. We are here to be that horn of abundance for one another, and to be the reminders and the teachers and the inviters to the truth, which can only be discovered in your own being. You are not going to discover it out here. You may see, which has happened to me more than once, you may see somebody who's just exuding the good stuff. You know who they are, right? The people that you're like, wow, they are so shiny. They're just like so nice. I just want to be by them. So what I have found in my own life is I get curious about those people. I'm like, what you doing? What you doing over there? What's your practice? That's usually my question. What's your practice? How you get to be this shiny? I want to know more about that. I practice a lot. Because that's what I want you and I to understand. Is all of these distractions and misunderstandings and cultural pressures are taking too much of our time and attention. It takes practice to turn away from all of that BS and come back to what is true, to what is purposeful. It takes practice to discover your divine nature when you probably, like anybody in this life, have been layered with a bunch of BS that is untrue about you. It takes hours for me daily. But that's how important it is. That is how important it is for me, as I like to say, to ride this bitch till the wheels fall off. I don't want to miss a moment of this divine gift of aliveness. I want to be here and have the full experience to the very best of my ability. And I want that for you. And it takes practice. It takes intention to turn into what matters. And your cup, it is the thing that will give you the transformation you long for. I don't care what transformation you are longing for right now. It is guaranteed the first thing you must do to have the transformation. And it is so worthwhile. You are so worth it to give yourself the time and the attention and the intention to know yourself as God's abundance, to know yourself as a cup that is ever running over, and here to be an active, abundant participant in this thing called life. How good it is to be gifted this opportunity. Yes? Should we pray that in? Okay. Oh, how good it is. How good it is to remember, to put back together this truth that has always been true, that there is one. There is one good that I call God, that I call the divine, that I call the holy blessed one. And that this one has been in motion since before time and will continue to move for good beyond our existence. And that this one is present right here and right now as you and I. And that this one has birthed you and I into this moment to be the material reality of good. And there is nothing more important than that. And so with deep gratitude for the invitation, with deep gratitude for the breath in my body and the breath in yours, I give this purpose, this absolute truth into the law as a offering, as a holy sacred yes to moving towards greater and greater good. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, breath. Thank you, humanity. Anchor this with me in prayer by saying amen, and so it is.
You all want to turn around. We're going to watch a video. Reverend Amani's son, Tenzin, did this song a while back with me and Jeff, and it was super fun. It is a Nemo song called Grateful. I'd love you guys to sing along with me on the choruses. It's one of the happiest days ever.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're my smile, you a guest. You the earth, you the sun, you the grass, you are loved. You're my hands, you're a bud, you're my eyes, you're a hug. You're the light in the dark, you're a spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you're my water, you the stars, you're my daughter, you're my friend to the end. You're my dreams, you're my father. The ants on the ground, the miracles that surround. I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere and the clouds. You're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow. You're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I fall. The blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss. The gift to realize that everything is a gift.
I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Na 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 na. Na 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 na, grateful for it all.
Every time I try to count the lessons that I learned, every time I turn around, the water when I'm burned, every time I think I'm found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign and saying stop and take a bow and keep moving forward and keep looking towards your heart. Open doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chords with your mind and heart aligned to purpose, and everything will be
all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. It all.
Because what I have is more than I deserve or to ever imagine. How do I get back all this magic and spread this love so everybody can have it? It doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family, if I'm all alone. Bad things can happen, I could just complain and moan, but there's a million things that I can be grateful for.
So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. For it all. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Grateful for it all. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. The small things that are bliss, the gift to realize that everything is a gift.
Everything is a gift. Ah, that is so good. And it gets me every time, those little baby cheeks of my baby. All right, so let's talk gifts. This is the time we move into giving and our time together. There are many ways to give. You can text to give, click to give, and pick to give. You can learn more at our website, abqcsl.org, to find the ways that you can give in this community. And I just want to bring forward again, and I know I've been talking about this pretty much every week, but that we are in a process of reinvention maybe, or remembering is how I'm feeling about it. And that the Leadership Council and myself and full-time staff have begun with a leadership retreat a couple weekends ago. And the plan from here is to kind of put a process together that you can be invited into. And so be thinking about that. Be thinking about the ways that you want to participate in shaping how we can mo better transform lives and communities together. That's what I'm asking you to give to today. Thank you so much for all your contributions.
Thank you, Reverend Amani. Thank you, everyone. All right, so we just have a couple of announcements. Please do visit abqcsl.org. That is our website. You can find our calendar of events and keep in the know of everything going on. You can also go there to sign up to receive Spirit Calling, your daily Spirit Calls and evening affirmations. And if you go to the About Us section of the website, you can find the list of all of us practitioners. If you want to reach out to any of us individually for a prayer session, we are available. And if you would just like us, all of us, to hold you in prayer during the week, you can email your prayer request to prayer@abqcsl.org. And those of you here in person, we do have prayer requests you can fill out and put in the box right outside the sanctuary. Please join us next Sunday, the 27th, for a potluck. We're going to have more than just the little cookies. We're going to have an actual potluck in the social hall. And if you are new to our community, we're also going to be having a new member orientation that evening. So let's have some fun together. You can join that membership class on Zoom or in person. So there'll be details about that in the weekly newsletter. And please join us this Friday at 5:30 in the Memorial Hall for the Art of Prayer and Practice. Am I lying about that? Is it not happening this Friday? Okay, I'm totally lying. We are actually not having prayer and practice due to the Thanksgiving holiday. We will be taking a break, so enjoy Thanksgiving with your family or friends or wherever you are. We will resume that first Friday in December. So please join me in today's affirmation. We are projecting it on the back wall. If you'd like to say it with me. The goodness of the one is my divine nature. My cup is always full and overflowing. And now please join us for our closing song. I'm going to work my way back there to help guide you guys. But I think y'all probably know it. I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through tears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful week. We love you.